Wow. Can I say wow? Or can I say, here we go again? Can I say, here we go again? Just like every 2 to 4 years, they kick up the same type of nonsense. They kick up the same type of rhetoric. They never stop with the lying, the stupidity, the attacks against, everyday Americans. They never let up. And it's even happening even more now. Right? We're seeing it even more. And I'm going to share with you tonight to show exactly how they come out and they'll say one thing and then they'll say another and just blatantly lie. Just right in your face lying. And of course, we're supposed to just believe it. And what's even more interesting is that when they're talking to people and they're lying to people and the people know that they're lying, they still go along with it. Like it's all normal. But anyways, before we get to some of that stuff, I want to talk about Twitter. Twitter's in the news again, Elon Musk. And it looked like Elon Musk is going to do it. He's going to do it. Here we go. It looked like it's going to be a deal. But one of the things that they were saying at Twitter before they actually, certify this deal with Elon Musk is that they want to make sure that Elon Musk is not going to fire any of the people that's been doing the censorship at Twitter, and that they're not going to allow conservatives, MAGA Republicans, back on the platform that they've removed in the past. Like me. They've actually removed, they suspended my account on Twitter. And they didn't give me a reason. They didn't tell me why. It's mainly, and you know what? I don't ever pull the race card or anything like that, but maybe I don't fit the profile because they left me to wonder what it could be that I've done. What could have I done? What did I do? Because I don't ever curse. I don't ever, call for violence. I don't ever do any of that. I don't ever incite violence either. I don't do any of that. I talk about what the left is doing, but so they just suspended my account. They got rid of my account altogether. No rhyme or reason. But anyways, so Elon Musk is talking about, finalizing this deal with Twitter, and the left, they're going mad. They're going mad. And they're really highly upset because it looks like Elon Musk, because he's constantly talking about free speech. And you know what's really amazing? The left, they don't have any clue on what free speech means. They really don't. They believe that if you say something and they dislike it, just because they disagree, they call that violence. Seriously, they're literally calling it violence if they disagree with whatever the topic that you're talking about, whatever it is that you're saying. They'll say it's violence. This is the world we live in. See, free speech means that you can say anything that you want, and people can dislike it all that they want, and there's nothing you can do about it. Or only thing you can do about it is don't pay attention to it. That's what you can do. Don't pay attention to it. But see, they want to control what you think. They want to control what you say. They want to control your lives. Straight up. Now, I do have some stuff that I want to share with you where they're talking about the whole Twitter issue here. And first, I'm going to play this one here. And this one's from Fox News. I want to play this one for you first. And then we're going to go over to MSDNC and hear what MSDNC is saying about Elon Musk and Twitter. But listen to this.
The union between Twitter and Elon Musk is back on, and the media are melting down over his plans to offer free speech to users of every political persuasion. Twitter has accepted Elon Musk's proposal to buy the company for the original price of about $44 billion. And now that the billionaire is one step closer to buying the social media giant, some members of the media are losing their minds. Expectedly, as always, with NBC reporter Ben Collins, for example, saying the move could, quote, actually affect the midterms. And another reporter responding, retweeting, be afraid, be very afraid. Ambassador, one of my personal favorites was Don Winslow, who said, if Musk gets control of Twitter and Zuckerberg has control of Facebook and CNN is under new Republican-backed management, we have a massive problem. And he says, do not listen to anyone who tells you differently. This is a massive freak out over the promise of free speech.
And let me stop it real quick. And I know a lot of people have their reservations about Elon Musk, and people going, oh, don't trust Elon Musk. Don't trust Elon Musk. What does this got to do with trusting Elon Musk? If you don't trust Elon Musk, don't get on Twitter. If you don't trust Elon Musk, don't buy a Tesla. If you don't trust Elon Musk, don't look at the rockets that he's shooting up in the sky. I've seen so many people saying, oh my goodness, Elon Musk, he's going to get us all. Because you know what it is? People have become so accustomed to having their free speech taken away, to having so many rights taken away. And then here comes a billionaire like Elon Musk talking about free speech. Everyone goes, there must be something wrong with this picture. How dare he come along and talk about free speech? We're all accustomed to having our speech censored. That's how the world is supposed to be. We're not supposed to be able to say what we want to say, even though people dislike it. We're not supposed to be that way. Oh, no. So you can't trust him because he's talking about free speech. I don't give Elon Musk any control over Will Johnson. Now, when the left is upset with him because he's talking about free speech, I'm going to side with him on that. I don't have to side with him on the other stuff with the neural implants that he's talking about. I don't have to side with him on that other stuff. But when it comes to free speech for you, for me, I'm going to side with him. You may dislike it. Maybe you want the censorship. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. This is the only reason why I bring that up because there's a lot of people that talk about that.
Love it. I love it because I'll tell you, what they're afraid of is that this actually become transparent. Mm-hmm. And right when the word came out that Musk was going to do this initially, my numbers grew by tens of thousands. I think it was 50,000 in a week. And it's because they suddenly removed the algorithms, right? We all know what it's like. You see how slow it works. And then suddenly if Musk comes over, my hope is that one, he makes it transparent. They show the algorithms and they really start to focus on getting rid of the bots because we don't need China, Russia, and Iran sitting there dictating the debate that's happening on Twitter. We need to actually have real people that can say whatever they want because we are a country of free speech.
That's right. And to the ambassador's point, that's why, in part, the $44 billion offer was considered 38% higher than the market value because so much of it was bots and proverbial crap. So, Brian, what say you, though? Because I know you lost a lot of followers as well.
Right.
Why is free speech so dangerous to the left?
I thought I did a bad interview, maybe on the radio, and I thought that's why I lost them. But evidently, I've been told that I was being followed by bots, which I don't mind because I like feeling more important when I had those thousands of extra bots. Initially, I didn't get 50,000, but I got another 20, 30. But I think.
So how many bots are following Joe Biden? I mean, just, I was wondering that. How many bots are following him? Right? They probably have a special bot farm just for Joe Biden to make it look like people are actually wanting to hear the stuff that he's saying. And you know good and well that Joe Biden, he's probably never even touched Twitter. He's probably heard about Twitter. He probably sees someone else typing on it. But I'm willing to bet Biden probably never tweeted anything personally because it's some intern doing it. Because Biden, he probably wouldn't even know how to do a tweet.
I think it was as simple as this, Ambassador. I think it was because a lot of Republicans or conservatives or moderates or independents that weren't way to the left decided I can go back on Twitter. And maybe I can actually learn something, pick up something, or follow the news. The other thing to keep in mind is I have not figured out why he, at the last minute, went back to the original deal. What was the 6 months about? What was the 6 months of sparring about? And instead, maybe he knew he was going to lose the court case, and he thought, I'll just get ahead of it. So I think both times, when he said, I'm going to go on the board, I was surprised. When he said he was going to buy, I was going to be surprised. When they worked out a deal, I was going to be surprised. When he dropped it, I was surprised. And I was surprised when he is actually buying it now. I think it's great news for the country.
I love that you're always surprised.
Yeah, right. I wake up every day amazed.
Yeah, you know what? This should be really great news for the country. It should be. But I can see how the left, they're going to pick up the censorship right before it all comes down. And they're terrified that you and I will be able to go on the platform like Twitter. Now, I'm not sure it's going to change for Facebook and change for YouTube. Most definitely not YouTube. YouTube is probably even worse than Twitter because I can see them talking about different topics on Twitter that YouTube would automatically ban your channel for, if not delete your channel for. So, but I don't think that they're going to let up, right? They're going to probably double down. And They're really terrified that this is happening right before the midterm election. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if these conservatives can go and say their peace of mind, if conservatives can say the truth on these social media platforms, we're going to be in trouble. Now, like I said, I do have one from MSDNC. I want y'all to listen to this. And I know a lot of people can't stand MSDNC or the Communist News Network, but I share this information with you so you will know the way they think. See, a lot of people don't want to pay attention to them, and I get it. So I do the research for you, and then I just share it with you. Now, they're upset, and they're butthurt because Elon Musk looked like he's getting ready to do Twitter, and they're terrified of Trump coming back on Twitter. Not that Trump already said that he's not going back on Twitter, but they're terrified of the fact that Trump might his account come active again, and he just might, tweet something every now and then. Right? He may tweet something and say more information back on True Social. He can do that. It'll be his account. But they're so terrified that average day Americans will be able to go on Twitter and say their peace of mind. Listen to what they say here on MSDNC.
Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and the richest man in the world, is moving ahead with his agreement to purchase Twitter. And one of the only clues we have as to what Elon Musk will change when he takes over is that he has suggested he would reverse Trump's Twitter ban, saying, quote, "It was not correct to ban Donald Trump." Musk considers himself a, quote, free speech absolutist, and whatever that means.
Y'all hear this? Elon Musk considered himself a free speech absolutist, if I can say it. And she goes, whatever that means. Listen. When she first said that, listen.
Musk considers himself a, quote, free speech absolutist, and whatever that means.
Free speech absolutist, whatever that means. It means he's for free speech. See, this is exactly my point. They don't have a clue on what free speech actually means. They don't have a clue. These people are so demonic that they believe that you say something I don't like, it hurts my feelings, so it should be considered hate speech. Even just because you don't like it, right? That's exactly their mindset.
The people who've been deplatformed from Twitter have been celebrating the possibility of Elon Musk's takeover since he first offered to buy Twitter this spring.
I am cautiously optimistic about the prospects for Twitter now that Elon Musk has taken over. I don't know Mr. Musk, but I do invite him to come talk with me in Washington, D.C. I'd be happy to put together a roundtable of all the most brilliant people who have been unjustly banned from Twitter.
Those brilliant people, according to Marjorie Taylor Greene, include the likes of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and far-right troll Milo Yiannopoulos. All of them, plus Donald Trump, could be back on Twitter before the midterms.
And that's why they're terrified. They're terrified that they can be back on Twitter, putting out information about the left, and they're terrified by it. If I'm saying something, right, let me give you an example here if I can. There's a UFO right here in my room. There's a UFO right here in my studio. Right here. There's a UFO. Y'all can believe me or you don't have to believe me. There's a UFO right there. But see, the point is, I should be able to talk about UFOs, right? And I bring that analogy up because I've never seen a UFO personally. And I've looked up in the sky and I'm like, man, it'd be cool to see a UFO. I remember one time I went to Colorado. And every day around 4 o'clock, if I remember correctly, it rains in Colorado, and you can see the mountains, and then the clouds would come over and it rained, and it would clear up. And I was like, man, it'd be awesome to see a UFO come over there, just thinking about it, But you should be able to talk about it. Who cares if you're right or wrong about the UFO? Who cares if I say there's a UFO right here in my studio? Who cares, right? You don't have to pay attention. Oh, he's just talking. He's talking to UFO, right? Free speech. But they don't want you to talk about when it comes to free speech, they don't want you to say stuff that they disagree with. Because if they disagree with it, you should not be able to say it.
What could go wrong? Joining us now is Kara Swisher, editor-at-large of New York Magazine, co-founder of Recode, and host of the Pivot podcast. Kara, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thanks, Alex.
So it seems from the reporting that Musk's purchase of Twitter could be imminent. How do you read the tea leaves on this?
Oh, it's going to happen unless the financing falls through. There's a couple of areas they could if the court and Musk's lawyers don't agree on how to do this. There's that way. The court really wants to make sure that they don't adjourn this trial before a deal is done. And so there's some small things, but it's a lot of money, $44 billion, and so he's got to make sure he's got the commitments that he needs.
Do we have a sense of how he would practically go about changing the company and moderating what it is now? I mean, does he get rid of the truth and safety teams? Does he just do a wholesale clearing of house?
Did y'all hear that? Does he get rid of the truth and safety teams at Twitter? She's talking about Twitter. She's literally talking about Twitter. The truth and safety teams. I gotta take it back. The truth and safety teams?
$4 billion, and so he's got to make sure he's got the commitments that he needs.
Do we have a sense of how he would practically go about changing the company and moderating what it is now? I mean, does he get rid of the truth and safety teams? Does he just do a wholesale clearing of house? Is that what you would expect from him?
I sure hope so, because it's not the truth and safety teams. We're talking about Twitter. We're talking about liberals at Twitter. And she got the nerve to talk about truth and safety teams. This is the same Twitter that suppressed actual factual information about the Hunter Biden laptop. The same Twitter. The same Twitter that have banned people for saying that there's only two genders. The same Twitter that have banned people for saying that only a woman can have a child. The same Twitter talking about the truth and security team. What? And it's the same Twitter that allows violent videos of people being completely tortured on Twitter. Where's the safety at? This is the same Twitter she's talking about.
No, I don't think that. I don't think he's going to do a wholesale anything. I do think he's letting on Donald Trump. He said it. He didn't suggest it. He said it, and he believes it. He said it to me before, and so I think he thought it was a mistake, and he's going to bring him back on. And of course, he'll be under strictures. He has said that if he does more of the violent incitement, that'll knock him off again. But I think he's very intent on allowing as many people possible on that platform.
Listen. So my question is. What point did President Trump ever call for violence? He never called for violence. This is another blatant lie from the left. This blatantly lying. President Trump never called for any violence. Now, they've taken stuff what President Trump said and they twisted it trying to say that President Trump was calling for violence.
Can I ask, though, what you just said, if he does the violent incitement, that'll knock him off again. What is the standard there? I mean, there's so much that Donald Trump tweets that is violent. I mean, even tweets at Mitch McConnell. Like, who's going to determine that threshold?
I mean, even tweets at Mitch McConnell because because Mitch McConnell is a snake. I mean, seriously, that's that freedom of speech. That's his opinion. I can say my opinion about Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell is a public figure. He's a congressperson. In the United States of America, we can say stuff about public people. If we don't like them, we get to express that. Now, can we call for harm against them? Absolutely not. We have to be against that. We have to be against that. But can I say Mitch McConnell is a snake? Absolutely, because Mitch McConnell is a snake, along with Lindsey Graham, Dan Crenshaw, Adam Kissinger, Liz Cheney, right? All, the rhinos, they're snakes. They're all snakes. All right, let's go on because I can talk about Twitter all night, right? You get the gist. The liberal left, they're all upset right now because Elon Musk is still talking about free speech and they don't want you to have free speech. And that just goes to show how much the left hates those who respect and who wants the U.S. Constitution to remain in the United States of America. They hate it. They hate it with a passion. Let's go to something else that's happening. This is in Georgia. Y'all remember this person? Stacey Abrams. She goes on the Communist News Network with Aaron Burnett. And Stacey Abrams literally says that she never said that she won. She's literally says that. She said, I never said that. I never pushed that. I never advocated for that. And Aaron Burnett knows that she's lying to her. She's lying to her face. And listen to this short video. And listen and watch Erin Burnett, because she's not going to disagree with her or anything, knowing good and well she's lying to her face. Why is this? Because the Communist News Network and MSDNC, they work for the Democrat Party. 100%. Listen to this.
Is there any scenario under which you would concede that you lost publicly in 2018?
See, now, why in the world would she ask that question in the first place? Somebody tell me, why would she ask that question? Why would she even bring that up? This is on the Communist News Network. Why would she even bring that up? Because that's what Stacey Abrams been doing all along. Now listen to Stacey Abrams' response.
In 2018, on the day I made that speech, if you played the beginning of the speech, I acknowledged that I was not the governor, that Brian Kemp won the election. What I said is that the process denied access to too many voters, and that was proven by more than 3,000 voters who made their voices heard, by a trial and a process that was the first full-length trial held on voting rights in more than a decade in the state of Georgia. I have never denied the outcome. I have always questioned the process and the access. And I think it's dangerous and disingenuous to conflate concerns about access with concerns about outcome. Outcome is about who wins. And no one is entitled to victory, including myself. I have never been unclear about the fact that I did not win the race. But access belongs to every eligible American, and it is incumbent upon every person at every level of government and in our society to demand that equal access to the right to vote be made available in this country, and that's what I continue to fight.
So y'all heard it, right? She denied that she ever did that. She denied that she ever did that in 2018, right? And now it's back up, right? It's back up, right? It's back up. So Let me remind you of what she said she didn't say.
I do have one very affirmative statement to make. We won. But I didn't lose. I got the votes. But we won't know exactly how many because of how they cheated. I did win my election. I just didn't get to have the job. We were robbed of an election.
Using the word rigged, using the word steal, do you think it's dangerous going into 2020?
I don't, because we can actually back it up. And so in response to what I believe was a stolen election, and I'm not saying they stole it from me, they stole it from the voters of Georgia. I spent the interim 10 days between the election and my non-concession day, as we call it. In fact, someone outside asked if I'm ever going to concede. The answer is no. It was not a free and fair election. I think the election was stolen from the people of Georgia. I believe it was stolen from the voters. I just said it can't happen again. Thousands of Georgians had their voices stolen because they were not able to cast ballots, and they cannot be guaranteed that their votes will be counted in 2020 if we don't do this right. I said that the election was stolen from the Georgia voters. If it looks like it's cheating, it probably is. If it looks like it's rigged, it probably is. The process that took place during the legislative cycle was one that did not countenance and did not pay attention to the deep and real concerns of those who watched this election be stolen in the state of Georgia. It was stolen from the voters of Georgia. We do not know what they would have done because not every eligible Georgian was permitted to participate fully in the election. Okay, so, and you know, there's one video where she said there was 3,000 people that could not vote, 3,000 black people could not vote, but there's never been any videos of these black people that said that they were not able to vote. I've yet to see one. If y'all seen the video of 3,000 people or multiple people that are black, people of color, that said that I could not vote, they did not let me. Where's the video at on it? Where's the proof? Because if there was actual videos of black people saying that they could not vote in Georgia or anywhere, even here in Texas, they were saying black people were not able to vote here in Texas. And I've been asking the question, well, where are these black people at? How come if there was, like I was just getting ready to say, if there was a video of black people not being able to vote because someone was preventing them, Communist News Network and MSDNC, the whole Alphabet Network soup group, all of them will be playing that video on cycle right now. They were playing it over and over and over, trying to justify why they want to get rid of the Electoral College, trying to justify why they want to federalize our elections. They will be playing it over and over and over, but there are no videos of it. Why aren't there any videos of it? So we're just supposed to believe what they're telling us and not believe and not based on what we know is taking place? I mean, I'm asking the question here. They tell us these things are happening, but they don't ever show us these things are happening, right? It's one thing just to say,
tell us, right? Just believe us. Just believe us. We don't need to show you anything. Just believe us, right? It's like if I came on here every night and I just told you all this crazy stuff that they're doing and I never showed it to you, you might be questioning it. See, I tell you what they're doing and then I'll show it to you. Like, let me give you another example of how they're lying. And y'all know who Herschel Walker is? So apparently Herschel Walker has some dirt, has some garbage in his past. Who doesn't? Do y'all think Will Johnson is perfect? Then y'all came to the wrong place. Will Johnson has mishaps in his life. I have life experiences, some that I like and some that I dislike, right? I used to be a Democrat, and I still have a hard time telling people that. I used to be one. God healed my mind. And every time I get ready to say it, I get little reservations about saying it. You know, because it's like, ooh, it's kind of an embarrassing thing that I used to be. But I was born that way. I was raised that way because my family brought me up that way because black community, that's what they do. For the most part, that's what they do. But no longer. No longer. And I thank God that I'm not. But Herschel Walker, apparently, he has some dirt in his past, some mistakes that he's made, like we all have, right? I can say that I've never actually spent money for a girlfriend to have an abortion. But you know what? Everyone is entitled to repentance, right? We're entitled to learn from our mistakes and not to continue them. And now they're attacking Herschel Walker, trying to say that Herschel Walker, he hasn't been out in the public eye. He doesn't say that much. And they're trying to say because he's not competent. They're trying to say that he's not able to speak. Listen to this. Listen to what they say here about Herschel Walker. And I want you to keep in mind, they don't say any of this about Fetterman, and they don't say any of this about Joe Biden.
Herschel Walker may very well win this Senate race, despite being such a disaster of a candidate. That's the bet that Donald Trump and the rest of the Republican Party have gone all in on. That in the end, having an R after his name is the only thing Herschel Walker will need to claim victory in the state of Georgia. Joining us now is Greg Bluestein, politics reporter at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Greg, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
So first, tell me how this is all playing out in the state of Georgia. We have those fundraising numbers, $500,000 raised by the Walker campaign. Is there a sense that voters may be softening in terms of their support for Walker heading into the final stretch of this election?
There certainly is that sense. It's really hard to tell right now how this will all shake out. Though he's denying these reports, of course, he has a credibility issue, right? If these similar allegations had come out against Governor Brian Kemp or other Republicans and they flat out denied it, there'd be a significant number of Republicans here who believe them. But in Herschel Walker's case, we've seen all sorts of ads and damaging news reports and other public airings of his lies, of his exaggerations, of his conspiracy theories, of falsehoods, and that has undercut his credibility. So I'm hearing from Republicans, even before this, but certainly accelerating now, who are just very concerned about his candidacy and who feel like even though they know he'll vote the way they want him to vote on, and he'll vote with Mitch McConnell, probably, right, on a number of issues. They're worried about his fitness for office right now.
You see this? They're talking about, they're worried about his fitness, his mental capacity. They're worried about his thinking, right? That's what they're really concerned about.
Well, yeah, I mean, you say credibility, right, which implies that there may be a trust issue in terms of his reliability. When we talk about Republican voters, they're not the same as Republican politicians in the state of Georgia. What are you hearing from the Republicans who are on the ticket, who have skin in this game, like Governor Brian Kemp? How has that campaign treated the Walker revelations?
Yeah, it's really interesting because while we see national Republicans rally around Herschel Walker because they have no other choice, right? It's too late to take him off the ballot. Georgia is critical to GOP efforts to flip the U.S. Senate. So there's no backing down or backing away from Herschel Walker for the national Republican.
And, you know, they go on to say that President Trump owns the Republican Party for the most part, and that no one is going to go against Trump. And they're saying that's the only reason why Herschel Walker is now on the ticket, because no one is going to go against Trump. That's what they constantly say. No one's going to go against Trump. No one's going to go against him. All right, so I want to play something else for you here, if I can get it to pull up here, because Herschel Walker, and the one I want to play for you is with them. They're really going really crazy about Herschel Walker here. Let me see if I can find it here, because they're literally upset that Herschel Walker's there, but they don't talk about Fetterman and his mental capacity. They don't talk about how he's all jacked up. All right, come on. I meant to have this already ready for you. But this is okay, where is it at? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where you at? Did I not move it? Okay, I think that's it there.
That it may not matter.
Nope, that's not it. Hold on. Why am I not finding it here? Okay, here we go. I want y'all to hear this, because this is how they're talking about Herschel Walker here, and they want everyone to believe that Herschel Walker he doesn't have the mental capacity to be in this position, and as if Joe Biden does. They don't say anything about Fetterman. They don't ever talk about Joe Biden. But listen to this.
Herschel Walker has a well-documented history of domestic abuse, including allegations that he held a gun to his ex-wife's head and threatened to kill her multiple times. And of course, there were the revelations that Walker had hidden the existence of 1, and then 2, and then 3 previously unacknowledged children. But maybe the truly gobsmacking thing here isn't the latest bombshell about Herschel Walker's past, that the supposedly staunchly anti-abortion candidate allegedly urged and then paid for an ex-girlfriend's abortion in 2009. Walker denies the allegation, though the ex-girlfriend has provided literal receipts to back up her story. Maybe the gobsmacking thing here isn't even that Republicans appear to be rallying around Herschel Walker more fervently than ever in the wake of this latest revelation. A church full of evangelicals in Atlanta applauded and prayed over Walker barely a day after those allegations broke. Walker's campaign claims it has raised over $500,000 since that story came out.
And they're upset because he's raising money the way they're attacking him. Right? They're upset with him because he's raising money, because the Republicans are not going to back down. And they're doing this mainly because President Trump has endorsed Herschel Walker, and they don't like it.
Maybe the gobsmacking thing here is really how broken the Republican Party is, that this guy was ever allowed to become the nominee for a U.S. Senate seat in the first place.
Are you hearing this? How did Fetterman become the nominee? Right? How did that happen? How did Biden ever get there? I mean, really? And she has the nerve. Again, this is MSDNC that completely strictly works for the Democrat Party. And she has the nerve to sit there and say, how did he get here? Right? And they never talk about Fetterman or the rest of the nut jobs. Now, listen to this one here. Okay, if I can get it up here. Listen to this here. And I hope this is the one I really want you to hear, if I can ever get this in here and get it right. Okay, I think this is it here. Okay, yep, here it is. Okay. Listen to this, because this is about them not paying attention to, this is them not acknowledging Joe Biden when he says all of these gaffes, and this is them not acknowledging Fetterman.
When Herschel Walker first started running for a U.S. Senate seat in Georgia, there was something very strange about his campaign. He almost never spoke. People spoke about him, Donald Trump talked endlessly about what a great football player Herschel Walker was and how he'd be a great candidate and a great U.S. senator. And, oh, hey, did I mention what a great football player Herschel Walker was? Walker himself would make appearances at events and he would shake hands. And occasionally he would read a short prepared statement about how much he loved America.
Now, do you see how they're trying to paint the picture of Herschel Walker? Can you imagine if it was Fox News or the right media outlets talking about a black person? They would straight up be calling them racist, right? That's exactly what they'll be doing. So why is this not considered racist? I mean, they're trying to paint a picture like he doesn't have the mental capacity.
But even CNN ran a headline last fall that said, quote, Herschel Walker is often seen and seldom heard. Toward the end of last year, Herschel Walker went on a radio show. It was Friendly Territory. A conservative host asked Walker to basically let loose on Senator Raphael Warnock, who would be Walker's Democratic opponent. And in that moment, we found out exactly why Walker's campaign tried to never let him speak.
Now, Walker, he's going to bring up John Lewis. And he's talking what he's talking about with John Lewis, talking about the John Lewis Act and stuff like that, because that's what Warnock was running on too, right? Warnock was trying to run on that, talking about the John Lewis and how black people been disenfranchised and stuff like that. And this is them flipping it, trying to flip it, trying to make it like he doesn't know what he's talking about when he was asked a question. But Joe Biden's looking for dead people. Joe Biden's looking for dead people. But they don't say anything about that, right?
He brings up voting rights, the John Lewis voting rights bill. What do you say about Raphael Warnock trying to push this during this time to try to what I call federalize elections?
You know what's sad about that, to use the name of a great man to bring up something that is so bad, I think is terrible to do. Senator Lewis was one of the greatest senators that's ever been, and for African American, that was absolutely incredible. I think for them to throw his name on a bill of the voting rights, I think is a shame. First of all, when you look at the bill, it just doesn't fit what John Lewis stood for.
Okay, y'all hear that? So he brought up John Lewis, right? And he said he's giving John Lewis props. John Lewis is dead. And he's acknowledging John Lewis is gone. He's not here. And they put John Lewis's name on the bill, right? And the whole reason for the John Lewis bill is because they want to federalize the elections. That's what all that's about. So what he said there fit, right? Because Warnock tried to ride on John Lewis's coattails. That's exactly what that was. That's exactly what I heard. But listen to how MSDNC, how this demonic woman takes that and tries to twist it, trying to say he doesn't have any realization, because he said John Lewis was in the Senate, but John Lewis was in the House. He's dead. So he got the Senate wrong versus the House. But when Joe Biden is looking for dead people, that's a different story, right?
Okay. First of all, the late John Lewis, not a senator, served in the House for almost 40 years. But even if you want to let that slide, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act is named after John Lewis because it was literally the culmination of John Lewis's life's work. Herschel Walker's version of that history is literally so far off the map, it is on another planet in a distant galaxy. And this was far from the only time that Herschel Walker got in trouble just by opening his mouth in public. Here is an ad that Raphael Warnock ran earlier this year that is literally nothing but a clip of Herschel Walker giving an interview.
So Herschel Walker was saying some controversial stuff, which again goes right back to free speech. And you should be able to say whatever it is you want to say, whatever you want to believe. You should be able to express that. But they try to discredit him as much as possible because they want a Democrat there. They want a Democrat. They don't want a Republican being in that position, especially somebody that was endorsed by President Trump. 100%. All right, let me play this real quick. This is so have y'all heard the news with OPEC? Right? It's not looking good for America. Gas prices, according to the way I understand it, gas prices are about to go up and go through the roof again.
Tonight, the White House says a decision by OPEC Plus to cut oil production is a clear sign the group is aligning with Russia. The oil cartel led by Saudi Arabia announced a cut of 2 million barrels per day, the biggest such slash in production since the start of the pandemic. The decision will likely lead to higher gas prices at the pump. President Biden is expected to order the release of 10 million barrels of fuel from reserves to try and stop that from happening. The national average for regular gas is up 7 cents since last week.
And it's going up. It's going up. And it's going to tap more into our reserves. And it's going to end up hurting the American people. See, that's what the people are really concerned about when they go to the polls. And they know this. See, when they first tapped into it, people were screaming because the gas prices were just beyond ridiculous. People were complaining left and right, up and down. Everybody was complaining about it. Right. So they had to do something then, but they did it. Because it's political, they're not doing it because they want to help the American people. You'd be naive to think that. They're not doing any of this to help the American people. They're doing this because they want to remain in power. They're doing this to convince the American people that, hey, we're here for you. So they create this problem and then they swoop in to try to act like they're here to save the day. Listen to this.
What we've been clear about is the need for energy supply to meet demand. That's what we've been working on across the board. And we've done our part. United States oil production is up by more than 500,000 barrels a day. As you know, we have tapped into the Strategic Petroleum Reserve as well to make sure that energy is on the market and also as a way to stabilize prices. Indeed, energy prices have come down as a result of the efforts that we've made. And when it comes to OPEC, we've made clear our views to OPEC members.
Gas prices. Okay, so the gas prices went to $5, $6, $7, $10 in California. Then they brought it down $1, which is still higher than what it was on President Trump. And then they tell everyone, hey, look, the gas prices are down. They're still high, but they came down. Right? It's still painful, but they came down. So just live with it. Don't worry about it. Just live with it. People are going to be concerned about that when they go to the polls, and we all know this. And just like when President Trump was in office, we didn't have the high gas prices. We didn't have this inflation. We didn't have the grocery stores, the food prices, the food crisis. We didn't have missing baby formula. We didn't have all of that. And we also didn't have a little rocket man shooting off rockets. We didn't have it. President Trump set foot in North Korea. And y'all saw the video, the little short documentary I did explaining kind of why they did what they did to President Trump, right? I mean, it was pretty powerful. And I've been trying to get people to understand exactly how I was saying the way I saw it. And that video completely described it. But look, this is happening now. This is happening right now.
To some breaking news, North Korea has launched 2 more suspected ballistic missiles toward the Sea of Japan. The latest missile launches come just 2 days after the North fired an intermediate range missile which flew over Japan. Today's launch is seen as an apparent response to U.S. military drills with South Korea.
And the last time they did it, Hong Kong, it was either Hong Kong or Beijing, I can't remember which one. In Japan, right? They were saying in Japan, it's like the northeast part of Japan, if I'm not mistaken. They were telling people to prepare because it might be a tsunami that hit, right? Be prepared. All right. Let me go ahead and get out of here. But before I get out of here, I want to share one more thing with you. Just one more. And I think this one is really important because we do need common sense. We need common sense to come back. We need common sense in the midterm election. We need common sense come 2024. Who agrees that we need common sense? Do you agree that we need common sense?
But when you look at what's happened and when you look at all of the things that are going on, we have to get back to common sense. People ask me, are you a conservative? I say, you know what I am? I'm a person with common sense. I want to see borders. I want to see great education. I want to see a strong military. I want to see things that are, I want to see a strong police force so that.
They want to see common sense. And they go, are you conservative? He's MAGA. He's a MAGA Republican. And you know what? People get upset with me because I support Trump. I mean, Can I not support who I want to support? Why do you get to dictate who I can support, who I can't support? Why do you get to dictate that? I mean, Trump is just a man, right? He's just a man, right? He's just a man. He's flawed like the rest of us. But you know what? He's the right man for the job. See, there's a difference. He's the right man for the job, right? All right, let me get out of here. Hey, let me say thank you. Let me say thank you to Herman Cain. Thank you so much for the PayPal. Thank you so much. It's been a minute, Herman Cain. George, thank you so much for the stars. Andy, thank you so much for the stars. Spring, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Michael, thank you so much. Nancy, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Patty, thank you. Chuck, thank you. Scott, thank you so much. Mandatory Carry, thank you so much for the super chat, sir. Thank you so much. JD, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. Baby Steps, thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. All right, I am live on Rumble, but I keep forgetting to go check on there. So thank you everybody for tuning in. And if y'all haven't already, I think my producer, she's been putting the link out there for my podcast. And I'm going to ask everyone if you would. Yep, I see it right there. It's a reality check with willjohnson.podbean.com. And I would ask everybody, if you can, please go there and subscribe to my podcast. I just posted it again on Rumble. And you know what? I'm going to do this real time here too. Because I know my producer, she's been doing it. And if I can, I'm going to post it here on Getter as well. If it'll let me. Okay, I can't get to the Getter. Let me see. I'm going to do it here. I put it on YouTube. Yep, I put it on YouTube. I don't know why it's not letting me do it on Getter here. Why is it not letting me do it? Okay, I just put it on Getter. All right. And was there, let me see, put on Rumble, put on Getter. Let me put it on Facebook. Can I put it on Facebook? Facebook, where is it at? Is it going to let me put it here on Facebook? Okay, yep, I'm going to put it here on Facebook. I know my producer's been doing it, but I'm just doing it personally myself here. I'm just going to post it here. Hopefully they don't ding me for it. It should be able to do it. So, all right. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much. Please go to the link. Subscribe to my podcast. I can't tell if anyone's on there, but if you would, please go subscribe to it. I plan on doing some special broadcasts on the podcast. All right. God bless everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We will see you on the flip side. Reality check.